Ho, ho, holy crap. This is a massive show. It's the Women of Wrestling Podcast Christmas Special. Podcast number 32. I'm the jolly fat man, Irish Stu Allen, and does that mean you're my elf?
I guess so, yeah.
It's Lee Burton, everybody.
Yay. No, seriously, this is a massive show. I've not that I've got any official data on it or anything like that, but I believe this is probably the most stacked podcast involving women's wrestlers as any existed anywhere ever.
Okay, it wouldn't be wrestling if we didn't have mad hyperbole. But yeah, actually, I think you're probably right. I mean, last year we did a Christmas show, and that was episode 16. So we managed to churn out 16 new shows this past year, which I'm quite happy about. But yeah, last year we had a show with 3 guests, and we thought this year we need to do another Christmas show. Let's not just revisit the 3 guests idea. Let's do, 6.
This was ambitious.
You said it couldn't be done.
I did say it couldn't be done.
In fact, repeatedly you said it couldn't be done, but we've stuck with our guns, and we have in fact managed to get together 6 of our previous guests.
It nearly frigging killed us.
Yeah, there's no point in, we didn't think anyway, there's no point in getting on any new guests for the Christmas show, only because, it's going to be limited time. It's not really the right time to talk to somebody new, but it is a nice time, with Christmas being a time for getting together with family and reflecting on the year and all that sort of stuff. It'd be nice to get some of our previous guests back to discuss basically how their year's been, what 2012 holds, and it was great. It was great to get back in touch with everybody again. And, this show's going to be a massive one.
Yeah, so just so you know, these haven't been recorded all in one big chunk.
No.
Because that would have killed us. So this has been recorded over the course of the last month, which is why we haven't had a Women of Wrestling podcast for about 3 weeks. We've been working on this, and to be honest, you're going to hear some great stuff in this. You're going to hear some stuff that's going to make you laugh. You're going to hear some stuff that might make you cry. You're going to hear some stuff that might make you depressed. But isn't that what Christmas is all about?
Yeah, there's certainly elements of all of the above.
You're going to be surprises
in any Christmas.
So coming up on this show, you're going to have thoughts about the year from people like Mercedes Martinez, Madison Eagles, Courtney Rush, LuFisto, Hailey Hatred, Sweet Saraya. They're all going to tell you what's been going on over this year, and on top of that, we're also going to tell you who the Ring Bells Wrestler of the Year is.
Yes. Now, let's talk a bit briefly about the awards this year. Last year, we decided to award a Wrestler of the Year award. That was to Madison Eagles, and a Woman of the Year award. That was to LuFisto. That was in recognition, basically, just of the fact that she'd had an absolutely incredible year. She'd had a stroke. She'd come back from it, and she was a really, inspirational. She was a really inspirational figure last year. This year we decided what we'd do is we'd have 3 awards. We've already announced 2 of them on the website, but we'll reiterate for you here who they are. But the 3 awards we've got are Discovery of the Year, Breakout of the Year, and Wrestler of the Year.
Yeah, so these pretty much sort of chart a wrestler's career, pretty much. You're a wrestler, and then people sort of recognise who you are and that you exist. Then you go from that state where you go from a wrestler who's on the card to a wrestler who becomes a priority on the card, which is the breakout star of the year. And then after that, you become the best wrestler, in which case, Wrestler of the Year.
Yeah, I'm gonna quote our buddy Steve, who summed it up pretty well. And he said the breakout star of the year was the wrestler who became a player this past year. And the Discovery of the Year is the award for the wrestler who, last year we had no idea who this person was, but damn, she's good.
That pretty much sums it up very nicely.
Yes, and then Wrestler of the Year is obviously the best.
The Wrestler of the Year.
Yes. So let's just reiterate then who the first 2 awards have gone to. Last week we announced the Discovery of the Year, and that went to Kaylee Ray.
Quite frankly, I think it was a good choice on our part. Not that I want to blow her own horn or anything like that. I was going to say,
that's very...
But the thing about her is that she has been somebody who does sort of fulfill the criteria of you didn't really know who she was last year, and now you do, and good God, you really do.
Yeah, she's had some breakout performances at Eve this year. She's stolen the show for at least some respect in the Eve show, the Eve versus Ice Ribbon shows as well. And, I mean, we know from talking to people involved in the shows as well that she was one of the girls who the Ice Ribbon people were most excited to work with. Like, they specifically said, Kaylee Ray, we like Kaylee Ray, we want to work with her. So that's an amazing sort of accomplishment for a young wrestler right there, to be identified as having that sort of potential.
And the world is a lobster pretty much now because of the scope and the distribution of DVDs by Pro Wrestling Eve. It means that she's now known in Europe. She's now known in Japan. She's probably known pretty well in the US as well. She has the opportunity there to be able to make an even bigger name for herself in 2012, which is a great thing.
Yeah, and at least some of the stuff we're talking about, by the way, is stuff that's still to be released on DVD from Eve, so keep your eye out for that. But, any chance, and again, if you happen to be in England or, more importantly, Scotland, and get a chance to check her out, go and see a show with Kaylee Ray on it. She's recommended.
You can't miss her. She's the one with the bright red hair.
Yes. And from there, we then went on to award the Breakout of the Year. And this is another person who, again, I think was I don't know if I would say a shoe-in. There were quite a few heavy candidates for Breakout of the Year, but this person really has been destined for greatness all this past year.
Yeah, Jessica Havoc has just been a magnificent beast, as we put it.
We do like that term, yeah. That was coined by you offhand once, and it's become our little catchphrase or our little nom de plume for Jessica Havoc. She is a magnificent beast, and she has really, just this year, become a massive player on the indie scene in the US, and she's getting ready, potentially, this coming year to take that next step again.
Yeah, she's lined up for March the 3rd, WSU's 5th anniversary show, challenging Mercedes Martinez for the WSU Championship. We'll be talking to Mercedes about that a little bit as well, just about her feelings and just whether she's even going to be ready for it, because we've talked about her concussion issues over the last couple of weeks. So we've got that all coming up. But yeah, as far as Havoc is concerned, she went the entire year being undefeated in singles competition in WSU, which is just a massive shot in the arm for her. Yeah,
she just ran through the competition, and of course then there was the big War Games as well, and that's sort of all set up now, the title challenge. So again, if you're going for the criteria of somebody who became a player this year, I can't think of anyone who became more of a player this year than Jessica Havoc.
And we've got some strong competition for Wrestler of the Year, but partially amongst the guests who we've got on the show. I mean, you got people like LuFisto and last year's winner Eagles and Mercedes herself and Hailey Hatred, and you just got some names in there that, let's face it, any of them could be worthy Wrestlers of the Year.
Yes, absolutely.
But one of them is.
One of them is, and you'll find it out here first. We'll do the write-up. It'll be on the website in the coming days as well. Just letting you know exactly what the situation is and who else was in contention. But you'll find out here first. So, without further ado, because quite frankly, I hope you're putting aside a couple of hours of your life to listen to this show.
And you don't really want to be listening to us. You want to be listening to our guests.
Yes. Let's get a bit of Christmas music. Let's get some Christmas going on here. And we'll be back with you in just a second with our first guest. Okay, and the Women of Wrestling podcast Christmas special continues. We are on the line with Mercedes Martinez, the Latina sensation. Mercedes, Merry Christmas.
Yes, Merry Christmas to you as well.
Thanks. It's been a long time since we've talked to you. You're about a year and a half ago. You were on the podcast last, and we went a long time talking about your career. But let's just talk a little bit then, maybe about what's happened in the last year or so. 2011 has been a successful year for you, hasn't it?
Yes, it actually has. I've been keeping busy and just kind of raising the bar from 2010, and I think 2011 has been probably the best and most productive year that I've had in my career. So I'm hoping that, I can keep up with what I did this year and do what I did this year for next year.
We've done a lot of things in 2011 that you got to be proud of. You're still WSU champion. You've had certain situations going on at Shimmer as well, which have led to you sort of stepping across the other side of the tracks, let's put it that way. You wrestled 73 minutes earlier on this year. You've done a lot of big things. Has there been a highlight for you?
It definitely has been a highlight. I think when 2011 started, my goal was to kind of raise the bar from what I did in 2010, kind of set myself apart from what anybody was doing in 2011. And I think with, me still being WSU champion, the longest reigning champion, I think in any indie promotion at the moment, that was an accomplishment itself, just because I didn't think I was still going to be champion. So that is one accomplishment I'm very, very proud of. I hope to, I think that I'm bringing credibility to the WSU title, and no one in the company has held it as long as I have. So I hope to still be reigning champion in 2010. As far as Shimmer goes, I've had a successful year with Shimmer, and towards the end in October, obviously, I kind of went to the other side, but not really. It's one of those things where I'm kind of getting fed up and aggravated, and kind of just want another title shot, as I seem to kind of keep getting overlooked to a certain extent, where I don't seem to get title shots. I'm kind of taking matters into my own hand, and, certain people are just, in the wrong place, the wrong time, and I do what I have to do to rise up the ranks for Shimmer. So that goes for that. As far as, the 73-minute match was tremendous. Oh, 73 or 75 or something like that, or 73?
I think it was 73.
73, yes. That was a highlight as well, because I definitely didn't underestimate my opponent, Lexus, obviously for WSU, but she definitely took me to the limit, and that just kind of shows me that you don't underestimate any opponent, and you don't take them lightly whatsoever. And I was very, very proud of that match, and she should be proud of that match, because, again, we raised the bar once again in WSU for any Iron Woman match. Also, another highlight was me going to Japan for the first time ever.
Yeah, I was going to say against Nane Takahashi.
Exactly, and that was, I was so proud of myself just for even being considered and honored to even be going over there for a new company that no one's really heard of, which is Stardom. They just started out this year as well in January, so for them to bring me over and to kind of give them credibility is something that I'm very, very proud of doing. Hopefully I get to go again to Japan.
It was a bit of a flying visit for you to Japan, wasn't it?
It was definitely, the time difference and everything was fine with me, because obviously my real life job, I work nights, so obviously the time difference wasn't a big change. It was one of those things where I had so much free time and downtime that I was actually able to enjoy Japan while I was there, and able to sightsee and enjoy the foods and everything even before the matches, and still be able to still train with them, which was a different thing to do. It was a culture shock just for their training wise, because these girls go hard. I'd never seen, they had a 9-year-old girl who's training, and she can out wrestle and out cardio me in any day of the week.
That's impressive work then in that case. Yeah, I think we've seen that girl actually wrestle. That was the girl that wrestled Kenny Omega, wasn't it?
Is that Haruka?
Yes, Haruka, this 9-year-old, she can run circles around us over here. Just her training and her regimen and how serious she is. She did a 4-hour training with us like it was nothing. Like just going with them, not even going with emotions. Like it's amazing how they train these girls, and the dedication that they instill in them at such a young age.
So that would never fly anywhere else in the world apart from Japan.
No, here's a child labor law.
Indeed so. As far as the culture of Japan was concerned, is it something that you liked, or was it too weird, or what?
It's a combination of both. I love the wrestling, and it's something that I will love to do full time over there. Whether living over there, it might be a little different because I'm so family orientated. So I would definitely miss my family and everything. But if it was something to do a couple months at a time, then yes. But to live there full time, no. It wouldn't be something that I would love to do. I would be homesick really, really fast. So if it was something 3 months, maybe 4 months, that I can handle. Just because it's mostly for work, and I would have to think of it as I'm honing my craft, and I'm doing this to further my career and to get great matches and do what I have to do. But to live there permanently, I wouldn't be able to. I wouldn't be able to cut it. I would be flying back home really fast.
Oh, that's nice. So, I've got to sort of bring it round to the current situation as we finish up the year. And you suffered an injury and a concussion as a result of war games, amongst other things. I know you've probably got a catalogue of injuries. But as far as people are maybe concerned or interested about your health status at the minute, are you able to give us any sort of update on how things are looking as we finish up the year?
Well, as of right now, I'm taking a hiatus, and we're going pretty much day to day, week to week, month to month type of a deal thing. Obviously, in war games, everyone saw me being carried out in a stretcher. What ended up happening is I took a Russian leg sweep from the top rope in the cage onto the mat, and I banged my head pretty hard, where I banged my head and then I rolled onto my neck. When that happened, I ended up had no feeling from the neck down, pretty much up to the waist. I couldn't feel my arms, couldn't feel anything. I couldn't move my legs or anything for that nature, so I kind of just stayed down. And obviously, my opponents didn't know what they were doing. Pretty much, well, they didn't care. Obviously, they're in there for war games. I mean, we all have to take care of our opponents to a certain extent, but basically they had no remorse for what was going on, and obviously they still continued to beat on me and still continue to, beat me up and everything. So with that, with me continuing with the match, at the end of the match, taking a finisher from Jessica Havoc, kind of put the concussion in me, I guess you can say, because I didn't know what was going on. I pretty much didn't know what was going on with my fingers or my hands. Pretty much I was getting spasms in my arms where my hands would kind of lock up and almost look like, they were freezing up or everything like that. So we took CAT scans, body scans, x-rays, basically anything you can think of at the ER. And a couple hours later, I think I left the ER like 5 in the morning. Basically, they said I was fine, that there was nothing wrong, that I'll be, I came out with a very major stinger, that I will be sore for a couple of days, I'll have headaches and everything like that, but they didn't consider it a concussion at that moment. When I went home, obviously, to Florida, I was getting migraines and still feeling really sore. I knew there was something wrong, so I went to my own doctor, and basically they said, I ended up getting a concussion. How major it was, they didn't know, because obviously I went a couple of days after it originally happened. So at this moment right now, they told me no flying just because I was getting dizzy spells. I'm still getting really major migraines. They didn't want me to do anything where something can happen on the plane if I blacked out or anything like that. So no flying for the next month or two, depending. It kind of just taking it day by day. I mean, I'll still be doing local shows down here in Florida, and taking it match by match and see how that goes. I'm battling other injuries. I have a left shoulder injury as well, still battling back injuries. So I guess this hiatus will kind of have me recuperate from all of the injuries, but at the moment right now, it's mostly the concussion and the stinger that I'm suffering from that's kind of keeping me at bay and keeping me away from doing shows outside of Florida.
Concussion seems to be one of the big things at the moment as well, considering what's going on with Serena Deeb.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird how everyone's getting injured, and especially with concussions. I don't think a lot of fans realize how hard we hit our heads sometimes. I mean, we're trained to do this, but things happen in the ring where you take, really big falls, and you only can protect your head so much, and sometimes it just happens where you hit your head, and you don't realize how hard you hit it. And, with Serena, she's been in the business for so long, you don't know, any head injury, anytime you hit your head you get prone to a concussion. We hit our heads all the time. I've been wrestling for 11 years, and this would be my 4th concussion. And this is the one that put me out right now. I mean, I've had concussions before, but it never took me out. It just kind of a week or two, and that was it. But this one it's taking me out right now, for a couple months. With Serena, I think it's the same deal. She probably had concussions as well and just never realized it. So, and now once you have a concussion and you take the time out, now you're prone to them. And anytime you hit your head, whether, it could be something as just falling, taking a regular, simple back bump from a clothesline or anything, that can kind of injure you for life. You just don't know. And I don't think people realize that head injuries, minor or major, it affects your personal life, so we kind of got to take the precautions. I just think when you're on the road a lot and you're traveling a lot and you have a grueling schedule, And, you know, with me, obviously, with my style of wrestling, the strong style, hard-hitting style, you know, I'm lucky to just still be doing this after 11 years, and this is my first major concussion in the wrestling business. But, I mean, just everyone right now, I think, is just being put on notice that just you got to be careful in the ring. You don't know what can happen in there, and fans are being put to notice. When you hit your head, you hit your head. It still hurts, and anything can happen in there.
I'm not going to lie. It sounds quite scary. I mean, hopefully, fingers crossed, everything works out for you as far as recuperation is concerned, and 2012 can be another productive year. I mean, as it stands at the minute, how's 2012 looking for you? What are you looking forward to?
I'm definitely looking forward to March. March is a very, very busy month for, not just for me, but I think for women's wrestling in general.
Yes.
I mean, we have WSU's 5th anniversary coming up, where I'm supposed to defend my WSU title against Jessica Havoc and seek some revenge for her, you know, having no remorse for me being hurt or anything and, you know, trying to kill me.
Yeah, that little thing, yeah.
Yeah, just one of those things where I'm just like, okay, she kind of crossed the line, but that's a different story. But I'm also looking forward to, you know, wrestling in Canada for Femme Fatales as well. A lot of, you know, another women's promotion out there. And then we have SHIMMER as well in March. And then, you know, and of course, hopefully, you know, I'm hoping it goes through, cross my fingers, England. So, everything's going, well so far. That's what I'm looking forward to right now is hoping to get better and then looking forward to wrestling in all these women's shows in March and then continue to hopefully still be WSU champion. I mean, I'm WXW Women's Champion at the moment, so I'm hoping to defend my title, of course, in Florida, my home state at the moment. It's just, I'm just trying to raise the bar one more time in 2012 and hopefully, you know, keep raising the bar every year that I'm in this business. But I got to take it month by month, show by show, and that's all I can do for right now just because I don't know what my health would be, you know, taking a couple months off and coming back in March, more than 100%, 110%, 150, doesn't matter. I just want to make sure that I'm in that ring and there's no injuries, nothing that's going to hold me back from giving the fans what they deserve.
Just as an incentive for you, the 5th anniversary show's on March the 3rd, and if you win that, it looks pretty likely you'll make 3 years as WSU champion.
Yes, in March it will definitely mark 3 years, and I'm hoping that I do reach that feat, but only time can tell, and you just have to be there in March, and everyone has to see on pay-per-view and see me, you know, still be champion for 3 years straight.
Excellent. Well, I mean, again, I think I can speak on behalf of all our listeners and obviously ourselves as well. I want to wish you all the best and a swift recovery. And we'll look forward to hopefully enjoying a lot more of the Latina sensation in 2012. Mercedes, thank you so much, and once again, all the holiday wishes in the world to you and your family.
Thank you, and Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to you as well, to everyone over there. And to all my fans, thank you for your support, and just everyone be safe and have a Merry Christmas.
Well, welcome back. This is another segment on the Women of Wrestling podcast Christmas show, for what it is. Courtney Rush, hello.
Hello, and ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas, guys.
Oh, Merry Christmas to you too. I should point out for everybody who's listening that this is the first 20 seconds of what you're hearing, but we've actually been talking for 29 minutes before actually doing any kind of recording.
About everything. Yeah. Because
you two decided you're going to wax lyrical for about 20 minutes about video games.
Well, yeah,
drinking.
I can't apologize. I can't apologize for that, but yeah, it's been a good year for video games, but it's also been a good year for Courtney Rush. Courtney, what has 2011 been for you?
A year where I really got to show what I can do beyond Ontario. I really got amazing opportunities at both SHIMMER and Femme Fatales, who gave me matches against such high-level opponents, people that I can learn from, and people who are at such a higher level than most of the girls are in my province, because we're all so young here. I got to, let me run down the list. I got to wrestle against Hailey Hatred. I got to wrestle against Madison Eagles. I got to wrestle Sarah Del Rey, Nikki Rox, Yumi Oka, you know, I mean, it goes on, and people who, I don't have that level here unless someone brings them in, which a couple of times, you know, I got to wrestle against Taylor Wilde and Tracy Brooks, which was awesome here, but it's so far, few and far in between if you actually get a promoter who's going to bring in a team girl rather than spend it on a WWE legend.
The Yumi Oka and the Sarah Del Rey matches were interesting for me on two different levels, because the Sarah Del Rey match, even though it's against Sarah Del Rey, actually managed to get you to show off your sort of sillier side. And the Yumi Oka match was the one where you actually, you know, everyone said this was like kind of like a sleeper match of the show that was really enjoyable, and you know, you knuckled down and stuff. So I think that showed off the two sides of Courtney Rush.
I like to try and bring something different to the table. Something Nikki Rock specifically taught me, amongst other people, but she specifically told me actually that day, and she was like, paraphrasing here because I don't remember her exact words, but it was generally always be different. If the majority of people are doing this, go do the opposite. And, you know, I can go out there and, well, the Yumi Oka match was my first match that weekend, right? So, nobody's seen me yet, so I'm going to go out there, and I've never, ever wrestled a Japanese girl. I've never, ever wrestled even Japanese style. And I'm going, okay, this is something completely new for me. This is going to be something that nobody's seen from me. No, I've never seen it from me. So I'm going to go out there and I'm going to hang with this girl, and she's going to see that Courtney Rush can hang with the girls from Japan too. And with Sarah Del Rey, if she had wrestled Yumi Oka that weekend as well, and I had watched that match in preparation for my own match with Yumi, and I'm watching Sarah team with Madison Eagles against Tamada and Yumi Kurihara for the tag titles, and I'm watching all this and all the targeting matches, and I'm like, I'm going to throw her out for game. And go out there and do something completely different. And it's going to be remembered, and it's going to be something nobody's seen before that even weekend.
Oh, that it was.
That's what I always want to stand out. Always want to be different.
Excellent.
Do you expect that from the Sarah Del Rey match? Someone challenge her to a dance off? No.
Dancing skills, I'll give you a 7.
I'm not a professional. I'm just having fun.
Well, you know, the bouncy ring didn't help you in any way.
Well, you know.
So before we...
Well, I was going to try. I ate a boot for it, so...
Yeah, you did. You were punished. Yeah.
Yeah.
So before we got you on the show, we said to you, you know, we want to talk to you about your year and how it's been and so on. And I said to you, you know, think of a funny story or something that happened to you in 2011 that you can recount to the listeners. And you said you had loads. So what was your best story from 2011?
The funniest one, I don't even know how it translated to be funny, but at the time I was like killing myself laughing. We're at, I think it was in September. Yeah, and we're at a Harvest Fall Fair in Northern Ontario. And of course, and logically, why wouldn't you have a wrestling show at your Harvest Fall Fair?
Indeed.
It makes sense to me. And it was actually a nice day, and we were really worried because it was September, and sometimes it can be really cold. And like the week before, we had done another outside show, and it was so cold, and I was healing on the kids for their weather and telling them to give me their jackets. And that was my heat. People yelling at children for being warmer than I was.
Give me your jackets. Did any of them do?
Yeah, and then they wouldn't. It would just made me madder.
Those bastards.
But I know. And then, so the next weekend, it was like super, super nice out. So everyone's out there, and it was like a really good crowd for this fall fair show in Port Hope, Ontario. And we go, and the promotion is a Classic Championship Wrestling, CCW, which is one of the few in Ontario that will actually regularly run 2 women's matches on their shows. So it's really good for us. And that show, I was wrestling one of our newest rookies, Leah Von Dutch. And then Cherry Bomb was also on the show. and she was wrestling Gabrielle Vanderpool in a title match. So I go out there and I do my thing with Leah. We have a good match. I'm checking out the crowd, seeing what's going on while I'm out there. And I come back in, and of course, any good fair show has like mascots from like different companies around. So there's like the fire dog, who's like the Dalmatian. He's wearing like a fireman's uniform, and he's walking around, and there's like these 2 giant bananas. And I go, Cherry Bomb, did you see those giant bananas walking around out there? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, I'll give you $5 if you make them come to the ring with you. She's like, what? I'm like, no, I'm serious. You're the super baby face. You're the champion here. You better come out there with those banana masks on. And so she goes, and she ends up finding the dog, the fire dog too. So she ends up going to the ring with the 2 bananas and the fire dog escorting her with her little arms, walking her to the ring, dancing to her music. And I'm like, I'm sitting in the crowd with my head down, pulled low, dying in the crowd, who I think it's hilarious. It turned out later that the bananas were actually like a corn and a wheat, which makes more sense for a harvest festival, but I thought they looked like bananas. So, yeah. But they look like bananas, so they have stayed bananas in the story. So she's got this giant furry dog, and you can barely see her, because she's like a tiny little girl, and like this giant 10-foot mascot surrounding her, escorting her to the ring for the title match. And I'm sitting in the crowd just killing myself laughing, because that was so funny. And then she forgot that I sent her $5, so I didn't even lose any money.
Oh, did you at least record this?
No, and it's like one of the first shows that I did not have my camera there for whatever the reason, because I try and tape like all my matches, right?
Yeah.
And for whatever the reason, I did not have my camera. Oh. So it's even hilarious, and then there's no physical footage out there.
Wow. Of course, you know that Cherry Bomb has started a campaign to come on our podcast.
Oh, did she?
Yeah. She wants to come on. But she's also the person who got you fired from Neo last week.
Yes, she did. Yeah, this was before we.
Yes. So
we got a little heated with each other.
That's right. You got anything you want to say to Cherry Bomb?
Everything I want to say to Cherry Bomb?
Yeah.
If she thinks firing me is going to keep me away, she's got nothing coming. There's different promotions around Ontario, and I've got my sights set on her in Tri-City Wrestling. So that doesn't have any affiliation with Neo, so good luck getting her there, sweetheart.
This is like the new feud, isn't it? Because you and Cat Power used to wrestle like everywhere in the world, like everywhere around Ontario, and now it's like you and Cherry Bomb everywhere. Yeah,
there's always my rival retires, and there's new ones. So definitely, and right now it's like me and Cherry Bomb are the 2 in Ontario. I'm excluding Portia because she travels so much everywhere, so she's not usually in Ontario. But we're like the 2 Ontario mainstays that are like the top of the pile right now. So naturally we're going to like get at each other's throats the most often, vying for the top spot.
It's all cool. So as we're looking into the 2012 coming up, what's on the menu for 2012?
Meat.
Sticking with Cherry Bomb, I'm going to beat the crap out of her. I have a couple little surprises coming up with her, which I won't keep quiet about. 2012, oh my goodness. 2012 is going to be very interesting for me because I swear even outside of wrestling, 2012 is going to be interesting because everybody and their dog is getting married that I know this year. So I have to, like, plan around carefully. It's like my cousin's getting married, and I'm going to be a bridesmaid for her. So I'm, like, planning all my bookings. And I'm, like, telling people they're, like, I'm getting married. I'm like, okay, but you have to tell me, like, right now what your date is. So I need to plan all my bookings accordingly around everything. So it's going to be a very, like, well-planned-out year for me. And I'm just looking to get if I can top the experience that I gained in 2011, if I could top that in 2012, it would be, like, incredible for me. Just to keep wrestling, like, people who have been all over the world, like, getting the opportunity to wrestle, like, Sarah Knight and Daisy and like people who have like traveled so much and wrestled everybody, and like Sarah just beat the crap out of Aja Kong, if I'm not wrong, right? Joshi
she did.
Yeah. See, and that's like, I'm like, oh, that's awesome for her, right? And yeah, like for her, like I'm doing the same thing. But like at such a larger or such a lower level, like she's like going like, oh, I got to wrestle my hero. I'm like, you're kind of to me what she was to you. So like I know what she's feeling in that, right? Like,
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Well, actually, there's a lot of different girls from North America who are taking trips over to Japan. Portia did it this year, and Nicole's done it as well, and quite a few women have done it for places like Reina, for instance. Any chance of that happening for you, or is there just too many weddings going on?
Honestly, before I would consider Japan, I really, really want to go to Europe.
Yay!
I would really, yeah, I know, right? I would love to come wrestle in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
Right, we need to make this happen.
Yeah, I know. I thought I was in danger to go over there, and I'm like, oh, I want to.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm gonna get on that first. That's my number one. Like I love European style wrestling. So.
Yeah, there are many cogs ticking in my head right now. Well, let's hope then that when we get you on potentially for the Christmas show next year, we can talk about the adventures you had bringing down Europe.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Great.
I like the sound of that.
Just on a side note, there are no meese in Europe.
Good.
So
you guys are
yeah.
lucky.
We can't take them down, unfortunately.
We can plan a tactical strike. Because we could be like
Europe
together.
To Canada?
Yes.
I think world wars have started on smaller premises.
They wouldn't expect an overseas strike.
No, they wouldn't. You're right.
In your face, right? Yeah. See, so they're expecting everything coming at them, and then what's this?
I've got it. We'll send out some meese-seeking missiles.
Yeah.
Oh, God. For anybody who hasn't got the slightest clue what the footage is going on, go back and listen to the podcast with Courtney. It's just the most ridiculous thing in the known world. And then buy the T-shirt.
Dick-seeking measles.
Oh, God.
Oh, God. Right, well,
this woman.
That's a concept I don't need to think about, but still, yeah. Anyway, Courtney, it's been a pleasure to have you on once again. We've off there talked about projects that might happen in 2012, and hopefully we will have you on the site doing this, that, or the other during this coming year. But once again, 2011 has been a tremendous year for you, and 2012 hopefully can only be up and away.
Yeah, just keep getting better. Keep climbing up.
We love you, Courtney Rush.
No, I love you guys. Anytime you want to talk about Zelda, just give me a shout.
Yeah, that's all true.
That's it.
I'm going to convert you.
I can't help you with that. If you want to talk about Tetris, if you want to talk about the original Mario Kart, I'm there.
Oh, that's cool too, though.
I am so lame.
No, you're lame or retro. You decide.
Yeah, I'm going with lame.
God. Right, anyway.
But retro is like trendy cool right now.
I think it might take a little while for me to... Maybe I'll just go buy a SNES. I'm going on eBay right now.
He might very well do that. Whilst he's doing that, I'm going to say thanks once again. And as far as our listeners are concerned, we're going to have, I think, a little bit of music, and we will be back with, I don't know, somebody else on the Christmas show here at ringbellsonline.com.
Okay, well, we're back with another guest for our bumper Christmas Women of Wrestling podcast. I'd like to introduce you to someone who I consider to be one of my heroes, and I only have two. LuFisto, hello.
Hi.
Oh, and I'm not joking, you are still my hero.
I feel bad every time you say that.
Come on, get used to it.
Still, thank you.
Can I ask, by the way, is your other hero me?
No, it's not.
I really like you, and I like to post, stupid stuff on your Facebook. So in a way, yeah, I guess you're one of my heroes, or one of the people I like to bug the most.
God, I'll get you, LuFisto.
You can try.
One day.
Coitus, that's all I have to say.
That's harsh. Vagina.
Oh, yeah, you like that one.
Yeah, Stu, rescue us.
It's been a while. Yeah.
This could go on for a long time. You know,
I know.
Before this just degenerates around my ears, I'll mention the fact that, you know, it's funny, we're talking to you at the end of 2011. At the end of 2010, we named you our Woman of the Year last year, and we're actually not going to have a Woman of the Year this year, mostly because we kind of didn't think that anyone else deserved it other than you again. Because you've had another pretty crazy year. I mean, ups and downs. You've had just a crazy roller coaster. What's it like being LuFisto?
LuFisto, it's a lot of pressure because I feel I just need to deliver in so many ways. Like I'm not that I'm a perfectionist, but especially in Quebec here, like this year, my main focus was to put the Quebec ladies on the map, especially my protege, Kalamity. And to me, it's a lot. I always put a lot of pressure to deliver the best matches, train the best people, and produce great shows, make great videos. And I don't accept defeat. So every time there's something happening, I just want to get through it, and it's really hard for me to actually think about, let's say, quitting wrestling, because I've been having problems with my back, and it comes and goes. Sometimes I feel really good, sometimes I feel really bad. And after seeing my doctor, he's like, you know, the only way pain is going to stop is by, you know, just stop wrestling. And I don't feel ready yet, so there's always the pressure that to me, would be like giving up. And although a lot of people, like Ashi and Matt from with the Joshi girls once told me, after 15 years, it's not quitting, it's retiring. But to me, it would be quitting because I'm not ready. So I guess being LuFisto is putting yourself into a place where failure is not an option.
Not to say that you haven't had, a year of sort of ups and downs or anything like that, but do you think maybe, this is just from what I perceive, but is some of your biggest highs and successes been because of Kalamity and seeing how she's grown? Because you mentioned her there, and we know that you're very proud of what she's done this year.
Oh, definitely. Like, I've trained a lot of people, and a lot of girls quit. Some of them, they don't want to go any further than Quebec wrestling or wrestling with friends. And there was 2 other girls that I trained, both quit for various reasons. And for a teacher, when you believe in your student and that happens, you always feel like really bad because you spent so much time on somebody and they end up quitting. So when you have that one that really listens to you, follows everything you tell her, and you see her working hard, because the thing with Kalamity is the first time she got to face Melissa, right after the match she was like, I was not ready for this, and she was surprised by the difference of experience with Melissa and the other girls she's been wrestling before. So she came to me and she said, like, I need help and I really want to push myself and reach that next level. So for somebody like me who's been wrestling for many years and you see that the end is coming, it's really inspiring to have that person who gives you like a second life in some sort of way. And you take her under your wing, you teach her everything you know, and you see her succeed. And every matches she's doing, she gets better and better and better. And you tell her, like, a lot of matches I had with Kalamity, I planned everything from A to Z and just told her how to hack, where to breathe, and all that stuff. And then she goes out there
and she's capable of applying the same things she learned with me elsewhere. Like I said, it's really, really inspiring, and I finally feel, look, if tomorrow I have to stop, at least Quebec wrestling now has another face, because everybody else quit or they don't really push their limits to achieve a certain level. And with her, everybody who actually was backstage at SHIMMER could tell you what happened when I saw her wrestle Hailey Hatred. I was backstage and I was watching it, and I was with Stéphane Brière. And once the match ended, I started to cry like a baby. and I was like, oh my god. And Stéphane gave me the biggest hug, and he knew how proud I was, like the mom seeing her daughter, making a name for herself. That's how it felt. And when she got backstage, I wiped my eyes because I didn't want to see me cry. But I was so, so proud. And I remember Joey Eastman comes and sees me. He's like, oh my God, she's so yours. Like, we can tell. I just can't explain how proud I was. And I'm looking forward to see her having other matches like that.
The opportunity now is there for her to build on that next year and reach even more goals.
Oh, for sure. Like right now, she's the NCW Femme Fatale champion. She did really good at SHIMMER. She did really good with Tomoka, Hailey Hatred. And next show she's facing Mercedes Martinez again. And so far, they've been having great matches. And with Mercedes, it's always like a wrestling clinic. You always learn with her because she's so passionate. She takes time to, teach while she's wrestling at the same time the person she's in the ring with. So it's really, really good for Kalamity to wrestle people like her that will give her more knowledge every time they face each other.
Well, let's talk about yourself for a second as well. Earlier on in the year, you had the heart surgery to close the hole in your heart, which was one of the contributing factors to the stroke that you had last year.
Yeah.
Physically now, how are you?
Physically, I'm okay, but the thing that I've noticed is right now, since my heart is building itself, because they put a little piece of metal to close the hole, and what my heart is doing right now is building itself up over that metal with art tissue, I guess, or something. So I get I get a little bit tired more easily. But besides that, I have a second breath, which I never, I never had that before. Like when I was in the ring, I was not blown up, but I couldn't reach, the second wind. I didn't know what it was because I never had one before. So you can imagine once I go in there and then get that second wind, I'm like, what is that? It's really, really strange. I'm not used to it yet. And the thing that happened since the heart surgery also, my training has been a little bit compromised, plus my back also. So yeah, I would say I'm not in the best shape of my life right now because I have to learn to work with that new heart. But now that I can focus, I'm moving in 2 days, and I will be able to focus on my training and dieting for probably the next 3-4 months. So I should be okay to get back on track and actually have a even better, health in general, because I'll be able to focus and work with that heart and take time to rest if I need to, since I won't be working anything else than wrestling.
And with that as well, you mentioned on your Twitter this week about how you're looking to travel overseas in 2012.
Oh, I would love to, because as a lot of people know, I don't have that many years in front of me when it comes to wrestling. And there's a few things I never did before, like going to UK, going to France or Australia, that I didn't mention, but I would love to go to. I would love to go there and experience what's it like before it's all over. And you mentioned that just before that I've worked a lot on other people. So I've decided that this year I would be a little bit more selfish and probably try to achieve the things I never, do things I never did before, try new things, visit new countries. And since I won't be working another job in wrestling for the next 4 months, that's now or never for me to go around and take time to visit and wrestle in all those places.
It's funny, you were very kind a little bit ago to let us publish a very sort of, personal and intimate little thing you've written about your relationship with wrestling. And, it's interesting to sort of hear you now talking about how you've got sort of high hopes for 2012 and doing things that you've never done before. How's your relationship with wrestling now as we close out the year?
I would say it's been the same for so many years. It's really a love-hate relationship. As much as I love people I work with, I love pushing my limits, try new things, and I love being in a squared circle and getting that feeling of accomplishment every time I have big matches. As much as I love this, I don't really like certain aspects of the business, like people who get chances that, should not, or people who should be getting chances and who are not noticed. I don't know. Let's say I don't understand why Madison Eagles is not on TV. Same for Sarah Del Rey or Melissa. And it's all those little things that make me kind of hate the business, because there's so many girls working so hard, and because they don't look a certain way, because they don't know, the good people, or whatever the reason is, they don't want to get the surgeries, or I just think it's sad, and it's really it's disappointing. And when you try to go out there, give the best show, train hard, try new things to get noticed, when you know that the only thing that matters is really the look and not your skills. I just think it's something that really, sometimes we talk about a lot of girls, losing faith or having a lack of motivation because of all this stuff. It's really sad because I think it hurts female wrestling in general. Thank God for places like NCW Femme Fatale, Pro Wrestling Evo, SHIMMER. But still, it's all those little things that really, I would say in a way it makes me a little bit bitter about wrestling. But on the other side, I love wrestling so much and everything that involves. I like doing the videos. I like to train people. I like go in there in the ring. So it's really like a love-hate relationship.
And as far as this past year then is concerned, we talked about ups and downs and roller coasters and all sorts. Would you look back at 2011 with a positive or a negative vibe?
Probably more positive, because NCW Femme Fatale was more popular than ever. We sell a lot of DVDs, like more than we used to. We have a deal with iSpot. We have a nice deal with Click Wrestle. Kalamity is now known worldwide. I've got other girls who are doing really good. I had a great time at SHIMMER, and I'm still so happy about my match with Kana. I was so nervous going into there and in the ring, and when I got out, I had that feeling of accomplishment that I don't get it often now, because because it's been so long I've been doing it. And finally, when I got out of there, and I was so happy. So that's really a positive for me. Besides that, getting my art fixed, it has to be positive, because, A lot of people die because of that, and they don't even know it. In a way, my stroke was a good thing, because that's how they discovered that I didn't have something. And right now it's fixed. I saw my doctor last week, and everything is perfect now. So I guess it's positive. Besides that, I'm moving with my fiance in 2 days, which is great. He's been really supportive about everything I do. And as far as the negative goes, for sure the fact that my back hurts and that I realize that I'm not going to go anywhere else than what I am now. Like, I'm not going to get to any big promotions. And, like, I always knew it in a way, but it's really this year that I realized that I'm not going to have any chances. And so that would be, I think, the most disappointing thing this year.
Just one last thing as well before we finish. I can't let you go without asking you about it. I wanted to talk about your soft kitty.
My soft kitty, yes.
I beg your pardon?
Yeah, now I know that if you don't really know what I'm talking about, that probably sounds like something that's very inappropriate considering LuFisto was talking about her fiancé just now. But what I wanted to point out is LuFisto's been given a soft kitty plush toy based on the Big Bang Theory, based on the Soft Kitty song. And it's the coolest thing in the world.
I know. Stéphane Bruyère from the Booker of NCW Femme Fatale bought me this for Christmas. It's really like a soft kitty plush, and when you press on his paw, it sings Soft Kitty.
It's the
really
cutest
cool.
thing ever.
It is. It is.
So yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying your soft kitty, and I'm glad you posted your soft kitty on the internet for everybody to see as well.
It's actually on my personal Facebook, but I'll try to add it to my fan page if people want to see it.
I think everybody wants to see your soft kitty.
Yes. Okay.
I feel like I'm in a 70s sitcom all of a sudden.
Wow, right. I haven't got a big handlebar moustache, so no, you're not.
Fair enough. Anyway, well, look, thanks so much for joining us again. It's been another phenomenal year, and we've loved every chance we've had to see you, both on DVD and live, and we wish you and everyone at Femme Fatale nothing but the best for the new year, and thanks again.
Thank you very much, and I hope to see you in Montreal very soon.
Okay, we're back on the Women of Wrestling podcast with our guest at this time, last year's Wrestler of the Year, and someone who PWI, well, quite frankly, they copied us this past year
they did.
by awarding her the number one place in the PWI Female 50. It's Madison Eagles. Madison, how are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Not bad, not bad. Merry Christmas.
Oh, Merry Christmas to you and to everyone out there listening to the podcast too. We're very happy that you're listening at this time, in this beautiful, beautiful time of the year.
It ain't beautiful where you are, admit it.
No, it's not, but I can pretend, okay?
It's supposed to be summer where you are, and all you got is a gloomy, miserable day.
I know.
You may as well move to England and get done with it.
England every day.
Yeah, exactly.
Horrible.
Well, that was a low blow, but probably deserved.
I had to throw it in. Come on. I'm going to take every opportunity I have, yeah.
Well, first off, I guess we should probably start with your sort of recent hiatus and absence, I suppose, from the social media platforms of Facebook and Twitter. You're saying you were disappearing for a couple of weeks. Where the bloody hell have you been?
I've been in the crazy house, the cuckoo house, after my SHIMMER loss. No. Just having some time away, a break, because I've been so, I guess like the last year has been really difficult, especially when it comes to injuries, having the latest being my knee, the one before that being my shoulder from the car accident, and the one before that injury in my shoulder, not my shoulder, sorry, my arm and forearm and hand before that. So just had to have a bit of a break and just a bit of recovery from like just my head going crazy with this whole, being pretty annoyed at my recent injury. So,
well, let's sort of go through them a little bit. Let's start with the shoulder, I suppose. You injured that in April, and it kind of dogged you for months. I mean, how is it now?
It's pretty weak still. Like of my two arms, you can noticeably tell that my left is is weaker. So like, thankfully it doesn't give me any trouble anymore, like when I'm just doing general things like, you know, moving around the house or, you know, driving a car or anything like that. But you know, exercise and weights wise, it's still giving me trouble, but, you know, but that can always be fixed, you know, long-term recovery with that.
And the
just
knee?
trying to build up the muscles and everything like that again. So.
What's the knee like then?
It's just disgusting. Got the worst prognosis I could have, either surgery and you can't wrestle again, or let's just wait it out and see what happens. And well, unfortunately that one doesn't have any time restraint on it. So, you know, we're looking at crap or crapper.
That's pretty much as bad as you can hope for, really. I mean, this has been dogging you for, well, since just after Shimmer, right?
Absolutely. I think it was 2 days after Shimmer actually that I did it. I did a double stomp from Doom. I call it the double stomp of Doom, and just hyperextended my knee so horribly that I just collapsed in pain and couldn't move. Then I think it was like 6 weeks after I actually did the injury, I finally got my MRI from the specialist done. And at that point, it still looked pretty horrible, like having been healing for 6 weeks. So they put me in a brace for another 5-6 weeks, and that's just come off recently, and it's still pretty bad. So, yeah, it just looks horrible from my point of view. Yeah.
That's a case of laugh or you'll cry, right?
Yeah, pretty much. It's a sort of like a half laugh, half cry.
Oh, God.
But, like, the thing is, at least I'm always involved with wrestling, especially with, like, the companies over here in Australia. So, like, I'm not away from it at any time. Like, even though I'm injured, I'm still working on DVDs and you know, like, online stuff, like our shows that we run here in Australia every month and everything like that. So, there's no rest for the wicked, I guess.
I guess not. And of course, this past year you had the first Shimmer title defense in, well, outside of America, outside of the continental United States, when you had the three-way in PWWA. Looking back at that, I mean, how does that show rank? Can you see lots of room for improvement? Can you see, was it a success, do you think?
I think it went really well. I think it went better than I expected. I definitely see room for improvement, with just, like, in general, with the overall quality of the show. We didn't have our high-definition cameras available at that time, unfortunately, but that was we only found that out the morning of the show, so we couldn't actually find replacements at that point, like high-definition replacements. I guess the match setups, they were fairly decent, like the whole card and everything like that. The wrestlers, I know that a lot of those girls are like me and we constantly want to get better and everything like that. So there's always room for improvement, in that respect. But that's everyone's opinion, I guess. But I think the main event and the whole way it was received by the crowd and by everyone buying the DVDs, like, was pretty awesome. So really happy with that.
What do you think of some of the girls who came over from New Zealand? What kind of impact do you think that they had?
Oh, I think they did really well. I'm so impressed by Evie, especially. Just like her natural athleticism and everything like that. You can just tell, like, that she's definitely got something behind her. Like, the other girls were great as well. So, like, really, really surprised. Not that I had high or low expectations. I just was, you know, hoping that they just put in all they had, which they did plus more. So they really wanted to show everyone, like, not just in Australia, but I guess across the world and in PWWA and, like, all the women's, area of wrestling, that they actually did have something to offer, and that was really good. So I was really, really happy with those girls, and we definitely want them back. So
when's the next one?
I've only been thinking about my knee lately, but hopefully we wanted to have one early in the new year, but I think that's going to be just pushed back a little bit because we have so many girls going overseas. We have Kelly Skater, who just arrived in Japan, and she's going to be there for a couple of months. We have Jessie McKay, who is just out at the moment with an injury, but she's going to be back. Oh, no, she's fine. She'll be back very, very soon. Also, we have Shazza McKenzie is going for a trip to the USA, I think, early in the year as well. And just a few people just going off and doing other things. So we're just waiting for, we're going to try and pick a time when everyone is in the same country still, and hopefully we'll get some more international talent and everything like that back as well. And definitely the New Zealand girls. So, I guess it's just a matter of, timing, really, for the next one.
We spent the first half of the year in the US, so you were abroad as well. Let me ask you a bit about your match in Chikara with Minami Toyota. I mean, tell us a bit about that. What was that like for you?
Oh, it was fantastic. It was a really good experience. I was very nervous going into it, but came out the other side on a more positive note, which was great. I always feel like I can do better, so I was quite disappointed in my performance in the match, but other than that, on every other level, it was absolutely fantastic experience. Just she's so knowledgeable, and a lot of the Japanese veterans are, but she was just fantastic to work, and it was just it was almost unrealistic. It was just hard when when I was in the ring to even feel like it was real. Do you know what I mean? It almost felt like a dream because you're there in front of all these people at a big Chikara show with Toyota, opposite you in the ring, and it just was a crazy experience.
Was that your favorite experience of your sort of half year in America?
I think it'd definitely have to be on the top. Definitely at the top. So, yeah, I guess you could say that, unless I'm trying to think of something else. No, she was really good. I just, it was just the all-over experience, I guess. You could definitely put it there at the top. Yeah.
Let me ask you about Shimmer, because, you were Shimmer champ for the bulk of the year. I just want to ask you just about your time in Shimmer this year, because even in the second half of the tapings in October, when you still had your injured shoulder, you had an incredible run of matches. Tell us about your year in Shimmer. I mean, is it as good as you wanted it to be? You mentioned about the disappointment of wrestling Toyota. Did you feel like you could have done more, or were you happy with how you did?
I'm never happy. I'm never satisfied with my performance. I'm never happy with, the outcome, at the end when I look back at it and stuff like that. So that's not really a good question to ask me.
I guess. I'll try harder next time. I'm sorry.
Yeah. You're in trouble now. I guess generally I was pretty happy, especially looking back at it now, thinking almost just a little small thought that goes through my head of that whole I might not actually be able to wrestle again, and thinking, those might have been some of my few last matches. Thinking of it that way, I'm happy with it. But I'm always looking to improve, and I'm always looking to be better. So you can see it from both points of view, I guess.
I'd say that match with you versus Serena Deeb is just now becoming so bloody sad. So you two kick the living crap out of each other, and now both you're on the shelf.
Yeah, well, I guess that's just the way it works. We did it. We were so awesome that we had to be set back, put back in our place.
Serena told us when we did the podcast with her a couple of months ago, there was a picture that came about just after you did that spider German suplex from the top.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And there's a whole bunch of different faces in the background, just different kinds of shock and awe and fear and reactions and stuff. And I think that just kind of summed up everybody's feelings on the match. It was just a great thing to watch.
Oh, thank you. I hope it looks good back on DVD.
Well, that DVD should be out pretty soon.
So everyone that wasn't there can see it. Hopefully it was decent.
Assuming everything goes to plan, because I'm going to try and be positive about this, or God knows, way too depressing. Assuming everything goes well with your knee and the various bits of it knit together stronger than ever, what's 2012 hold for you as far as your own personal aims? Just more of the same, or what's to come?
I think if we're looking on the positive side, just to say, for safety's sake, that I was to heal within the next month miraculously, and I'm perfectly fine again. I guess I guess I would say, since I've been injured, I've had to turn down going to Japan a couple of times. So definitely going back there more to get more experience and just, do a whole lot more wrestling is definitely, one of the things I'm looking at. Also putting more PWWA shows together would definitely be one of my personal goals. Just because I know the girls have some stuff to offer, and I'd really like to get them to have more experience with, with some international girls, with girls from New Zealand, with each other in different circumstances, and really get their names out there and help promote them. So that'd definitely be one of my goals, one of my bigger goals.
Would you be happy with that, if that's your lot in life, then, to be the promoter rather than the wrestler?
I don't know. I really don't know. That's a hard question. Put that one to me.
Yeah, it's probably unfair. It's probably a bit raw to be asking a question like that now. But it just occurs to me that obviously you've still got an awful lot of people who rely on you to help them along, and at least I'm thinking there's something there that you can still get out of wrestling. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that side of it, I definitely continue with that and try and improve that a whole lot. Like, we've got so much here in Australia to do as well, like just with the companies. With, as you said, a whole lot of people relying on us and what we're doing with PWA and with PWWA. So I'll always be in that aspect, but, I guess I'm never never going to shut down the whole, role of a manager or something like along those lines if I was to be injured permanently. Commentating and all that sort of stuff. So, I always want to be involved with wrestling because it's my passion and I love it. So even if I couldn't wrestle again, I'd definitely be involved, not only minorly, but in a huge respect, I guess, in other ways.
So depressed now.
Yeah.
That's okay. I'll be better. Okay. Let's just everyone be positive and we'll bring the positive thoughts and we'll heal my knee.
You are a true Aussie, aren't you? You're just like the poster child for turning a frown upside down.
Oh, I hope so. What else can I do? That's the problem. I can either sit here and be like, yeah, let's all be positive that my knee will heal at some point, or I can sit here and be like, I'm going to go be emo and cut my wrists. What else can I do, really?
Is there anything that I can do to help from here?
Can we start like a collect some money to buy Madison Eagles a new knee or something?
Could we do like a Live Aid event or something?
Yeah, Eagles Aid.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds awesome. Awesome.
Could we get Coldplay to make a single for you?
Not Coldplay, they're terrible.
Well, all right, we'll get Nickelback instead then.
Oh God.
I think that's a great idea. We can do a whole, something raise awareness thing, something. I don't know. We'll figure something out. I reckon we could do something. Help the injured female wrestling world.
Coming in 2012.
Yeah.
Oh God. Right.
I guess it's got to look on the positive side and, really just think, as long as I keep trying to work at it, that it will heal and I will be back in the ring stronger and better than ever, I guess.
Oh, we hope so.
Yeah, because if I'm coming back, massive. A tank, as Skater would call it.
You're going to come back like Triple H after an injury.
Yeah, pretty much.
What, wearing 2 jackets?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, Madison. Well, look, it's been a bizarre time to talk to you. Thank you very much for being so honest with us, though, and all the listeners as well about your situation. And we are having a bit of a joke about it, but do genuinely wish you all the best. You are one of our absolute favourites, and we need to have you back.
Oh, thank you so much, and I really, really hope that I can come back from this. So, send positive vibes my way, everyone, please.
We love you, tall Aussie.
Merry Christmas to you, your family, and the entire extended PWWA family as well, and we will see you again this coming year, I'm sure.
Yes, thank you so much, and thanks again for having me on here. We love you guys.
So we're back on the Women of Wrestling podcast Christmas show, and what's Christmas without stories? So we thought we'd bring back one of our favourite storytellers from the past, and that's Saraya Knight. She's back with us, everybody.
I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, actually.
Well, that may be.
As a storyteller, no, I do love my history and my stories.
Based on the redonkulous stories which we heard last time, we're pretty much in for a treat here, I guess.
Well, to be honest, I mean, I've got, you can imagine, 22 years in the job, I've got loads of hilarious and wacky and unbelievable stories. Maybe that's something for the future that I can, leave you with a thought of the day, an unbelievable thought of the day. But yeah, I think that when we talk, if I'm going to give you a funny story, I'll give you one that's happened this year. So we'll keep it that way.
Well, yeah, that's excellent. That's kind of the point. I mean, it's the Christmas show, so it's time to look back over the last year. And I mean, just even thinking about your 2011, it's been pretty spectacular year for you. I mean, not only domestically but internationally as well. I mean, one of my favourite memories of the entire year is when you and Brittany debuted in Shimmer and just sent everybody just running for the hills and turned them into gibbering wrecks. I mean, just think back and tell us about that. Tell us about that whole moment.
Well, to be honest, when I first got the thing to say that I was going across to America and I was going to work for Shimmer, it was like, oh God, I'm old. At the time I was 39. I mean, I'm 40 now, but it was like, oh Christ, what am I going to do? And obviously Brittany was a young 18-year-old girl, and I'm thinking like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to take this for what it is. Like, this is going to probably be my one and only time going over there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be the meanest bitch that I can possibly be, and I'm going to make sure that they never forget me. And as we were flying across, and I'm saying to my daughter, like, I've got to be the Saraya that I was when I was first in the job, the Saraya, the sweet Saraya and the Superfly sort of character. I said, I haven't done it in such a long time. I want to go over there and raise hell. And Saraya, like, Brittany came, I went, whoa, let's go for it, Mum. So I remember meeting, Rebecca Knox and everything. I'm thinking, oh, this is perfect. This is just so perfect to have her with us as well, because, I mean, obviously me and Rebecca go back away. And it was like, yeah, if we're going to hit them, we've got a manageress that just happens to be Rebecca Knox. I've got my daughter, and it's a mother-daughter tag team. That's another plus on our side. And I just kept thinking, like, everything, since I stepped foot in America, everything has just been so positive. And then we got the first match with Nikki Rocks and Ariel. And I remember, like, when Rebecca's gone out and she's given it the spill, and me and Saraya were backstage, and I said, are we going to hit him? She went, be as miserable as you like, Mother. And that was like, right, let's go for it. And it was that initial, when I first walked out, that when, like, obviously Brittany was being really wacky and Rebecca was being really wacky, and I was being really moody and sullen and, I don't know, angry. And it was just looking at their faces of sheer shock and horror, and it was a WTF moment. And to be honest, it gave me a real big buzz. It reminded me of when I first came in the job in 1990, and it was like, oh my God, I haven't felt this like surge for such a long time. Even though, I've been in the job and I love the job and I feel passionate about it. That controlling surge where I could control every person in that audience, and then I felt about 6 foot high and about 6 foot wide. And I thought, right, come on, you want to fuck with me? Let's play. And then from that moment, it was like, I mean, me and my daughter Jell anyway, as a tag team, and we just went out there and caused holy hell. And I remember looking at you guys, actually, and you're laughing because you knew.
We had seen, yeah, we had an idea what to expect, but nobody else did.
But nobody else did. And, like, over that 2 days, we had, like, the 4 shows. The second time we went out and the music hit, they knew what to expect, but they still didn't know what to expect.
That's it.
And that was, and progressively over that March taping, we got more and more outrageous. Brittany got more and more crazy, and I got more and more angry to the point where the punters were running for their lives in the end, because I decided I was just going to attack anybody and everybody that was near me. And, you know, I remember getting in the face of some bloke because he called my daughter a whore, which didn't go down well. And my character went out the window and mother stepped in. And I just wanted to rip his face off. And, you know, it got to the point where I was anticipating trouble when I went out there, even though I knew in the back of my mind I wasn't going to get any. I was anticipating it, so I was aware and, you know, trying to be protective of my daughter and still trying to get the character over, and it just turned from this crazy heel into this mad schizophrenic nutter. And I don't know, the character just progressed into this demon.
Well, this is it. It's that I think you know you're dealing with a bunch of Shimmer fans who kind of know what's going on, and they know the game and how it's played and stuff like that. And when they saw you come out and like you said, progressively over the show, they completely lost their shit.
Yeah, no, it was. You know, they were trying to attack me. They were trying to get in my face. I was climbing over the barriers after them. They were throwing things at me. I was ripping stuff up to the point where, as soon as on the last day in the March taping, the last match that we did, as soon as we come out, they were at the seats, and it was like we hadn't even got in the ring, and they were screaming and shouting and, you know, trying to be the one that we got in their face to, you know, trying to be the one that said the wittiest comment to anger us. Well, me in particular, I mean, with Brittany, they just wanted to be the snarky comment to make them giggle. But with me, they wanted genuinely for me to punch their face in. And I don't know, it was crazy, and I didn't want it to end. And I remember when in the October tapings, when we got the email through from Dave Prazak, and he said, look, you know, we'd like you to come back. And I looked at Ray when we read the email, and she went, we're going to have to top it, Mum. And I said, yeah. I said, I'm going to be more schizo and more crazy and more nasty and more vindictive than the March tapings, which, you know, she was, you know, because obviously there was a storyline there, and we storylined through the whole 4 shows. It was just, to be honest, March tapings, I think that we hit them with a bomb. October tapings, I think they knew what they were getting, even though the shock was still there. But I think it was the intensity of the storyline that was going on between me and Brittany that was more in their face than the actual anger and aggression, because I wasn't giving the anger and aggression to the fans, I was giving it to my daughter. So yeah. It was a different sort of vibe, but it was a very violent vibe. And I mean, I was being spat at, I was being kicked. You know, apparently in Shimmer that's not happened before, and in the 2 tapings that I've been over there for, well, the 8 tapings that I've been over there the 2 times, I've done so many firsts that they might have to write another rule book, because not only have I broken every rule in Shimmer, I've also created a few more they didn't know they needed. That's
true. Joey Eastman does always say now at the start of shows, amongst all the other things, do not spit at the wrestlers. That's because of you.
Yeah, well, I got spat 3 times. I mean, the first one kind of winged past me. The second one hit me in the back of the head, and the third one actually got me on my clothes. And as soon as I saw it, I mean, I'd rather get punched in the face than be spat at. And, I mean, that was it. I was in the crowd. I just wanted to rip his face off. You know, but it just seems now, I'm actually enjoying the punters trying to make me hit them.
Yes.
You know, and I've got no problem whatsoever if they want it, going over that barrier and smashing one. I've got no problem with that whatsoever. You know, if they want me to do it, I'll oblige. I've got no problem doing that. So they best be warned that if they wanted to get my back up, I would enjoy it so much to go in there and start smashing heads. So, well, you know, they've been warned. I've got no problem doing that. If they want to press my buttons, I don't mind playing.
It's funny that you say about you smashing people's heads. Well, you did quite the opposite to one particular head in the crowd on the on the most recent October tapings. Why? Yeah, why did you? Where? I can't even. Where did you get the idea that you thought, you know, the best thing I'm going to do right now with this guy is just kiss him full on the face?
Right. You know me, and you know I don't ever do what people expect me to do. I always do the complete opposite.
That's true.
Now, when that bloke was getting in my face, and he was because he had a picture, he had a sign, and he held it up so I couldn't see his face. So I stood in front of the sign. He knew I was there because I saw it starting to shake. So he knew that I was stood in front of that sign. So I ripped it, and I'm then waiting for him with a smart-ass comment to get in my face. And he looked at me, petrified, as if he didn't know what to do. And in my head I'm thinking, what shall I do here? I know, I'll kiss him. And it was just one of those moments where I thought, this is going to get a reaction that none of these guys are going to expect, and it's going to shock the shit out of this poor sod. And so I did, and I threw him by his ears down onto the ground, and I've looked at him and just basically said something like, and stay out of my face, or something like that. And as I've gone walked around to where you guys were sat, I've looked across, and he's still on the floor. And that was like, yeah, you stay there, bitch, you stay there. But I just wanted to do something. Even Saraya was shocked. Even she come round and she go, Mum, what are you doing? And, you know, it's like, I don't care, you know. I'm going to do whatever my mind tells me to do at that split second, I'm going to do, and I'll stand by it, so.
You know, the thing that's really nice to hear is the fact that, you know, that you felt reinvigorated by that run in Shimmer, because, I mean, I'm sure you had a million more compliments in the back, because I know, like me and Lee, because obviously, you know, we're the Brits and a lot of people know us, people were coming up to us and talking to us about how they had their love of wrestling reignited from watching you guys, so it's a wonderful, wonderful thing.
Well, to be honest, I mean, I'm not really one for after-show parties because I don't like mingling, not really. I've never been one to do that, and I find it very strange to go out there and be an ultimate villain and then go amongst the crowd and shake their hand and smile very sweetly. I find that really hard to do. And when the guys were coming up to me and they were like saying, you know, it's nice to see the old school, it's nice to see the 80s and 90s style villainry being there, and you know, you've invigorated my love of wrestling, and this, you've got to remember that for all my brashness outside the ring, and even though I'm a crazy sort of character, when someone comes up to me and tells me, you know, I love your work, I think you're great, I think you're this, I get really embarrassed, and I feel really, really uneasy, because to me, I'm going out and doing a job that I love, and I feel very privileged to go out there and do something like that, and be told by a person that I don't know, and would probably only see twice a year, and come up and say to me how much they love my work and how much they love my style of work, and I don't know, it's very to me it's very humbling, because I don't know, I still can't get used to people coming up to me and saying that sort of stuff, because I've been brought up in a business not to mix, not to cross that barrier between worker and customer. I've never been told to do that, so I feel very humbled, and this evil, sweet Saraya goes out of me, and I'm trying desperately to hold on to character, because I believe he's just staying character all the time, and I'm trying desperately hard to do it, and I just can't. I just want to wrap my arms around them and dry hump them and tell them, like, oh, thank God, oh, yeah, that's really cool, and you just can't do that, because you've got to have a certain poise, and I feel very, very embarrassed, and, you know, I don't know, I'm not in the job, I'm not one of these people that's got an ego in the job, I'm afraid. I just like going out there and, you know, people walking away from the show and saying, I love the show, oh my God, Saraya is evil. And that's enough for me. You know, they go home saying that, and I've done my job, so it is quite strange.
Well, apart from reviving, you know, many people's faith in pro wrestling across the water, 2011 also saw the revival of the WAWW project, with the first show back in a couple of years. Tell us about how you thought that show went, and you know, if you can, tell us what 2012's likely to bring. Well,
to be honest, I mean, I'm not going to deny that I fell out with Dan Reed. You know, I'm not going to go into detail about it because it's unfair on my daughter, because, you know, everything that I say and every problem that I've got is going to reflect on her. But I'll meet Dan Reed in my own time, in my own way, and deal with it. But until that time, I'll concentrate on my company, and I'm not in competition with him. You know, as far as I'm concerned, AWW was here before Eve. We've always looked to use as many girls as possible. I don't want to just use European girls. I prefer the world as a pool rather than Europe. I'm looking to highlight female wrestling as a whole, not European female wrestling. So you know, in my eyes, I think the first show went well. I think there were teething problems. The hall let me down, so I had to have it in my training school, which I wasn't happy about, because I thought that my first show needed a better venue, so I wasn't happy about that. I was happy about the girls that came. I was happy about the champions that I've got. I'm chuffed to pieces that Alison Danger come over, because I adore her. I just think she's totally amazing. So, you know, all in all, I was 70% happy with the show, but there was obviously 30% that I wasn't happy with, that I will be rectifying. The filming, even though it was filmed, I wasn't happy with the filming. You know, but I'll make the best of it and look at it, and it'll always be, because it's my first show back, I'll always be proud of it, of sorts. Even through, you know, the stuff that I wasn't really happy with. But it's always going to be a tender moment for me, that show, because that's where I learned to rectify my mistakes. And the next show that I've got in March, I've got my venue, I've got my lighting rig, I've got my camera crew, I've got everything that I need to have to showboat WAWW. My champions are worthy champions, and I'll stand by every single one of them. The girls that I've got on my roster is as big as any female wrestler in the world, because as far as I'm concerned, anybody, wherever they live, if they want to work for WSW, all they've got to do is drop me an email. All I have to do is work out the flights and the costs, and at one stage or another, they're welcome to come over. I've just got to obviously, you know, because I'm paying for everything, I've got to make sure that I can earn money, you know, and I have a budget to work to, but you know, I want to bring over the girls that mean something, and also the girls that don't yet mean anything, because, you know, you make your way in life, and you make your name in life, and someone's got to start somewhere, so I'll never turn anyone away. I might have to give them a little insight on the way that we do things over here, if they're on with one of the British girls or whatever, but, you know, I haven't stopped learning in this job, and I'm damn well sure all the pros in this job will say to you that they don't stop learning either. So, you know, I want to give them a British experience, and if I can do that for any girl in the world, then I will do it. So, yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to it. And March is going to be awesome, because, I mean, everyone knows that Alison Danger is one of my closest friends in this business. They also know her connection to Shimmer, and they also know that my school in America is going to be Shimmer. So you can guarantee there's going to be Shimmer stars coming over, and I'm not going to lie to you, I've got my eye on one certain girl in particular, and I know that she's mentioned it in passing in 2 or 3 times, and it'd be really cool to have her on board. But obviously, I'm going to wait for 2012 to give it the actual proper details. But I'm so looking forward to it, because it'll be her first time over in Europe, well, in England. So it's nice that I'm able to give these girls a first, break their virginity over here.
Excuse me? All right.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Well, that's what it would be. Their English virginity would have popped.
I'm bringing the camera.
Yeah, okay. But, I mean, you've got an inkling who it is anyway, you know, so, like, good luck with bringing the camera to film that one.
I'll charge up some batteries and see what I can do.
What I will say, though, about Shimmer is I've got to thank it in its entirety, because if it wasn't for Shimmer, I won't say that I was losing heart in the business, because the business is in my blood. But Shimmer has given me something that I thought I'd lost, and you know, the feeling of being a 6-year-old girl and waiting for Father Christmas is the feeling I got when I went to Shimmer. It made me look at myself. It made me address my faults. You know, I was. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. I wasn't addicted to painkillers or alcohol, but I did have another demon, and I was only 8 stone when I went over there. And when I looked around the locker room and I saw the girls and how straight they were, and how focused they were, and how amazing they looked, and realising that I was twice the age of 99.9% of the locker room, I took a good, long, hard look at myself and realised that I'd been wasting a lot of my life doing things that I shouldn't have done. And, you know, I think in a way, Shimmer has saved me. and it's given me something back that I thought that I'd lost. So, you know, I want to thank everyone at Shimmer, and I want to thank, you know, like just everything, the whole experience to me has made me reform. And anyone that can see me now can see that I've put on 3 stone in weight. I'm probably in the best shape that I've ever been in the whole of my career. I'm actually looking more feminine now than I've ever looked in my life. And the only people that I can say a big thank you to is the people at Shimmer. And if it wasn't for them, I think I'd be losing weight drastically and still addicted to stuff I shouldn't be addicted to. So, you know, it's a big shout out to them guys, because they reformed me and they remoulded me, and I like what's happened, and I'm happier now than I've ever been. So, big shout out to those guys over there. They saved the streets of there.
Wow. So 2011 really is going to be a year you're going to look back at with an awful lot of fondness.
It is. It was crazy, because I thought that I was focused and I thought that I was doing things right, and it wasn't until I went over there that I realised that I was doing things right but in the wrong way. And now I'm focused. Adrenaline is flowing. I'm excited. I'm going to bed at night, loving the day, and waking up in the morning with excitement. So, and you know, I've got my family around me all the time anyway. But I've definitely, I can't turn around and say anything else than it was Shimmer and Alison and Dave and Lexi. It was those 3 that actually gave me my, I don't know, it's hard because it's not self-esteem, it's just life, giving me my career and my life and my sparkle back. And I know my husband and my family really respect the girls and the guys over there for what they've done for me. So, you know, I'm a recharged and re-energized Saraya Knight, and it's because of them guys, so it's pretty cool.
Well, you know, speaking of your family, I mean, you're obviously very close to your family, the huge sort of extended Knight dynasty, and it's been a great year for Brittany as well. And you know, we'll finish up with your little segment here, just with a word about her.
Well, it's really difficult because everyone out there knows that I can't. I'm binded, but all I can say is. Oh, I'm going to get upset here, so you're going to have to stay with me. 2012, it's the start of something amazing, and it's the end of something that is also amazing. And I wish her all the luck, and I just hope that she gets and she does what she set out to do, because my daughter's a star. And I'm very proud of her. And I know all the family are proud of her. So, you know, good luck, Brittany. And you always know that we love you, and you've got us here, but you've also got a family all around the world, and you're never going to be alone, kid. And you go out there and show them, because Mum loves you. And I know if you need me, you go out there and you knock him dead, and you say another Knight's did it. And I told you I'd get upset to you.
Well, you know, I don't know if we can say much else other than add a big amen and give you a big hug. And
I know, it's going to kill me. It's going to kill me so bad, but I'm so proud. But I will tell you a funny story about her. It's going to kill me about this. Just
go on then.
Because Saraya Knight sitting there blowing like a bib. I was lying in bed one morning, and I heard this wailing, and it sounded like a cat that had been either, you know, it was just a shrieking. So I'm trying to get out of bed, and the door is locked. And I've run to the door, and Saraya is there, screeching at the top of her voice, and she's walked to her bedroom as if she's got 2 broken ankles. So I've run after her, I'm running around in front of Nicholas, and it's like, babe, what's the matter, what's the matter? Well, she's howling, and she can't get any words out. Well, eventually I've consoled her, and her ankles have both come up, and I've gone, babe, what have you done? She went, Mum, I went to the van. she said to go and get my wrestling bag out because I needed my hairdryer. She says, and I come out of the shower and I just had a towel on. She said, I went to the van and I sat on the seat and I pulled my bag over, but I lost balance. Fell backwards out the van, towel come out. She was stark naked underneath. There was some builders working on the house next door. They all looked down, see my door, spreading all on the pavement. With the towel akimbo, legs akimbo. She's twisted both her ankles. She picked herself up. The boys are running down the scaffolding to come and see if she needed any help. She picked up her bag and hobbled inside. And she's come up to me, bless her heart. And I went, are you all right, darling? I said, are you embarrassed or are you in pain? She was like, I'm both.
Oh.
So bless her heart. She's chuckling about it now, but I just had this vision of her reaching across with one hand holding the towel and one hand holding a wrestling bag, her toppling over, falling backwards off the seat and falling into the street with nothing on, lying there. It was, oh, bless her heart. I mean, she did do her ankles in, bless her, but it was just such a funny thing to listen to. And, I mean, you just to experience it, just to hear her screaming at the top of her voice. But she'll kill me for telling you that story, but hey ho, you've heard me cry now, you've heard me laugh, so...
She's nothing if not classy.
Oh, I've enjoyed this.
Yes. Well, you know
you
what?
never know what to expect.
No, exactly. Like you said earlier, no one knows what to expect with Saraya. Look, Christmas is a time for family, it's a time for laughing and joking, and at least we managed to end up, I think, on that with you. So, we'll see you very soon, and good luck to you and your entire family for 2012. We will no doubt be in your corner throughout it.
No, definitely. To be honest, we can't wait for 2012, even though, as I said at the beginning, it's going to be emotional. It's going to be a very proud year for us. And we know, in every aspect, in every family member, we know that every single one of us is going to make each other proud. So, we're all looking forward to it, all for different reasons. But, I know the Knight family like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and, just come and see us. And don't judge us. Just please don't judge us. Don't listen to the rumours. Don't listen to the gossip. Just come and meet us and make your own assumptions on how we are. And if you don't like us, it's no biggie. We don't expect everyone to do so. But, come and meet us before you form an opinion. And I can promise you, if you need us, we'll always do that.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you very much. And as far as all our listeners are concerned, let's have a little bit of music and we'll be back with another guest.
Okay, well, we've had all these other guests on the show tonight, and great people they've been. But now we're going to introduce you to the woman who is our Wrestler of the Year for 2011. Congratulations, Hailey Hatred.
Oh, yay! Thank you.
Nice to have you back on the show again so swiftly, but you got quite a good reception last time you were on. I think a lot of people have really sort of noticed who you are in 2011. You've had a tremendous year.
And you got more belts than you have trousers.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you guys for having me again. I think you guys opened up a new market of maybe people who didn't know who I was, living over here all alone in Japan. So thank you guys. I really appreciate it. You guys were fun to talk to.
6 championships this year then, 3 singles and 3 tag team championship belts you're holding as we talk to you now. I mean, is it even possible to look back at 2011 and say this was my highlight of the year?
Yeah, 2011, I think in every aspect has been my best year, career-wise and personal-wise too. It's been a really fun, exciting year, and Japan, not only professionally, is an amazing place to live, but, it's a really cool place to make friends, like I talked about before, like international friends and whatnot. So it's been a great, fun, exciting, incredibly busy year. So it's been awesome, but I can't regret anything. All my goals that I set out for 2011, I did end up accomplishing. I actually ended up accomplishing more than I set out to accomplish. So for 2012, we'll definitely be reevaluating where my standards are and setting them a little higher.
Can you go much higher?
Well, I mean, I'm trying to get a record for championships over here, so I am
What is the record?
I think it's around 10 or 11. I'm having some people, research it.
Awesome.
I do believe it's 10 or 11. But
awesome. Hailey Hatred has got people.
I do have people. They're not well paid. I'm still a pro wrestler, but.
Staff? Wow.
I do have staff. I have an office too.
What?
Mad. Yeah. I have an office. Anyway. No, it's cool. The championships I actually have, I was actually told by my people, that I'm the first ever triple crown champion, which kind of confuses me to even repeat, but, I'm the first wrestler, male or female, in any country that has held, a triple crown in singles and a triple crown in tag team wrestling.
Wow.
So, that's so cool. And the quote-unquote record I'm going after here, 10 or 11 belts, like I said, I'm just gonna shoot for 12 belts, just to, have a little bit of a cushion. But those are not, a mixture. Those are, mainly crown belts. So, if you win a tournament, you win, a dozen championships. So, fortunately, I didn't have that luxury. I had to go in on mine separately, but,
You have to do it the hard way, eh?
Yeah, I had to have a bunch of matches, but no, in all seriousness, there are more belts, more championships, I hate to call them belts, I'm sorry, more championships that I do have my eye on for, 2012, but, that's not the only way to mark success. I will also be doing MMA finally, making my debut, getting a little bit of a lesser wrestling schedule, more of a mixed martial arts schedule, so that'll be really cool, and just a lot of fun things to look forward to.
We talked about that earlier on, actually. What's the current situation in regards to your MMA debut?
Yeah, like I talked about before, it's been about 8 months since I was supposed to debut, but then we had the earthquake, so my debut was supposed to be on the day of the earthquake, so it was March 11th. So yeah, and then just getting right into tournament season, and then finishing the tournament, winning the belt, the JWP Open Class Championship, and then getting into the tag tournament, and then not getting the championships there, but then getting the chance to finally get them, and just so madness. I honestly had to spend more time at the wrestling dojo than the MMA dojo, so I really couldn't, put my camp together properly, but I still, my wrestling has become more, spar style, more, stand-up fight style, and even some more ground style, some more catch, if you will. So, with my wrestling transitioning, it's been a little bit better for my MMA career than having, two separate, completely styles. So next year I will have a little bit of a lesser load, and especially in the beginning of the year, I'm not currently scheduled for any tournaments. Hopefully it kind of stays that way. But we'll see, though. But yeah, I'll be able to do a little bit more training at Pancrase than, JWP Dojo and whatnot. So finally get my butt out there and do some MMA.
Well, one of the reasons why we selected you to be the Wrestler of the Year, and quite frankly, we kind of had you penned in for a few months, is because of your success winning the JWP Openweight title. Because that's what we perceive as one of the big ones as far as your multitude of championship belts that you have. It's just one of these sort of history-making things that, a non-Japanese wrestler winning this title, the oldest title in Japan, it's just something that's history-making. It's groundbreaking. It hadn't been done before. And that was really one of the reasons why we had you as our Wrestler of the Year. I mean, even now, after winning it, does it still feel special to you?
Oh, of course, yeah. I mean, it's funny, whenever I do a photo shoot, there's always an interesting, language barrier, but they always spit out, which is your favorite championship, and they always, highlight that one. And it's hard to say what your favorite championship is, but that one is just, it took so much to win. I don't think there will ever be another title that would come close to how that, that championship makes me feel. And for all the people that are just kind of, shaking their head at, championships in pro wrestling right now, it's seriously, this belt, cost so much, blood, sweat, and tears, not to sound lame, but, it was such a long road to get to that championship and to even get to the opportunity to have the matches that I've had to get there. But finally winning tournament, finally in the finals winning the championship, and then being able to defend it successfully, going to the States and defending it successfully, it's just all been really, really great, really tiring and exhausting, but really, really worth it, and, the best thing that's probably ever happened to me.
That's one of the things, isn't it, as well, because the defences of it, because it just shows that, it wasn't a fluke or a flash in the pan or something like that. You win it and you lose it, and it's just a case of that was for the headline and that was it. You are actually the champ.
Yeah, defending it, I defended it at Korakuen Hall, defended it at Shinjuku Face against Kurogaki. I gotta, I've had to wrestle her a few times, so it's always been hard. They keep throwing her at me, but yeah, and then, like I said, I went to the States, and that was the first time the JWP Championship has ever been in America, so that was pretty cool. And I defended it there at AIW with Cherry, so that was fun too. She's a very skilled competitor, so I haven't really had easy defenses or wrestling girls with a 6-month resume or anything. It's I'm wrestling girls that I wrestled my best friend, and she's had a 12-year career wrestling Kurogaki. She's in the double digits as well. So yeah, I've had my work cut out for me, but I've prevailed.
You mentioned AIW there. It's probably worth bringing it up now.
Sure.
You were meant to be defending your 3 singles belts again recently in AIW against Gail Kim, and that sort of fell through.
Unfortunately, I was really looking forward to that.
Yeah, and it sort of fell through about, a week to go? What were your feelings about it?
I was bummed out. Honestly, whenever there's a proposition of wrestling a big name or a TNA wrestler even, and I just kind of get this pit in my stomach, oh man, this is not gonna happen, and it just kind of always ends up that way. I've been scheduled to wrestle girls that the pre-WWE days, post-WWE days, that it's just been just the most impossible thing to make happen, and it's just so retarded and ridiculous. I don't know what the big deal is when it comes to somebody who and I've even had this with girls who have been in developmental and never even headlined WrestleMania or anything like that, or even been on Raw, and it's man, it's I respect people for various reasons for where they've been and what they do, but we are still kind of all on the same level here. We are all independent wrestlers, and then just the things, I don't know what TNA is considered, but, I just wish things could happen more easily. It just seems like they never do. It's much easier to book the girl who, wrestles, in, Florida or Chicago than it is to, book the girl who went to Florida for WWE or Orlando, Universal Studios, whatever, so. Yeah, it was a bummer. A lot of the fans wanted to see it. I even watched WWE matches to study for it. I put myself through that. I really did. But,
that's dedication.
It is. I was trying to find ones that were longer than 2 minutes. But,
that must have been difficult.
It was. I was really narrowing my search history in YouTube. Over 2 minutes. Not sucky opponents.
Wow.
Not model opponents. Yeah. No, but in all seriousness, it really sucks, especially for the fans that were looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of cool coverage in Japan getting ready for it, so.
It did sound like there was a lot of masters to serve in that. You had so many different promotions who sort of had a little bit of a hand in it as well. So it did seem like there was a lot of balls being juggled in the air.
Yeah, I think, and I look at this, and it's just, in the end, it really is just, independent wrestling. I think about, these multi-million-dollar, baseball deals when people are, trading other players. How did, the Boston Red Sox get, Damon from Oakland? How did that happen when, we can't set up, Hailey Hatred versus Gail Kim? Seriously.
Yeah. Should have had your people. Should have got your people to do it.
No, my people are good. No.
Indie wrestling is serious business. I think we all know that.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I want to ask you as well, because you mentioned earlier on your best friend, Kaori Yoneyama, who's in her final week or so of her career. She's about to hang him up. It's been a heck of a final year for her. To me, this is someone who, and I know she's made this decision that she wants to retire at this point, but to me, this is someone who's right in the prime at the minute. It seems a real shame.
Yeah, it sucks to say that. It's a shame, but it is, but it's been something she hasn't been able to, talk herself out of. We originally, when she talked about it, she wanted to do it in the summer at our big Korakuen event, which in the end ended up being my first championship defense against her. And I was just like, oh no, you know, this was before we were facing each other when we were still friends. We hated each other for like that month leading up to our fight. No, but I was like, no, you know, don't retire. And like, I'm like crying, you know, and being all lame. And she's like crying, and I'm like, don't retire. And she's like, you know, no, it's my plan. And this was kind of, I guess, in springtime. And then she had the jaw injury. And then she came back, and then, you know, she decided she was going to keep going at it. And so I was like, it was kind of like some false hope there. I was like, okay, cool, she's not going to retire. And then she's like, oh yeah, so I'm going to retire in December instead. And I'm like, oh, that sucks. But she really is in her prime. Like, she wrestles better than most of the women who are, you know, much older than her, and she actually wrestles better than most of the girls that are, you know, in high school or whatever that are kind of coming up in the joshi scene. And like you said, it's been a nice like couple months for her. It's been like an amazing like couple weeks for her. That girl has been wrestling every day. Like a couple Sundays ago, she had 5 matches. Like she's for Yone Mania. That's at the Ice Ribbon Dojo. Like she wrestled the tag team match to a 20-minute draw. Turned right around, wrestled Nana Takahashi, who was, in my opinion, one of the like maybe the best like girl in Japan. You know, definitely top 3. Just turned right around after that 20-minute draw and wrestled her in a singles match. Like, those two kicked the crap out of each other. You know, next day she turns around and wrestles 2 more matches. She wrestles Masa Takanashi from DDT. He does a lot of the Ice Ribbon shows, and like he's like a chain wrestler, like a grappler, and she's, you know, Yone's a run around and kick you in the face kind of girl. But she hung in there. Like, they had like an Iron Man match. And she hung in there. Like, I don't remember the time for the match, but it was over 20 minutes easily. But, she hung in there just like, you know, keeping up with him hold for hold and just like reverse and stuff. And like, it was like, it's like a side like Yone I've never seen before. And, like, I actually like said something about that on Facebook. Like, she's really, like, she's gonna have nothing to look back on and be like, oh, I didn't do that. Like, I mean, I know a lot of girls do like the random death match before the retirement, and I don't know that she has that planned. Hopefully, kind of not, but but whatever makes you happy, you know. I've done my share, but like she's really like pushing herself, and I mean, I hope a lot of wrestlers, like, you know, we talk about Yoneyama Revolution, and I hope a lot of wrestlers are really like looking at like what she's doing, not as like a way to exit with your career, but as a way to make your career, because she's, you know, she's thinking outside of the box, she's pushing herself. She's adapting to new styles, and she's getting ready to, like, you know, hang up her boots. Like, it's insane. She's
been really busy.
Yeah. Like, I don't think she sleeps.
Well, she got to wrestle in America as well a couple weeks ago for Chikara for their Joshi Mania shows as well.
And she was so thrilled about that. Like, I got to talk to all the JWP girls, and not to be biased, but
no, there were a few on the show, yeah.
Yeah, there were 3. But from all the fan, you know, the fans are really cool. They always like message me about JWP and stuff. Like from the fan like response, like I feel like my girls at JWP, they kind of did the best out of everybody. Like, so I'm really happy about that. You know, our dojo's really strong. But she was just so in love with America, and it made me so happy because it's such a different place and a different place to wrestle, such a different culture than Japan. And she was just like so in love with it. She was like, I want to go there for like a month, and I just want to wrestle all the time. And she was just like so down with it, and I was just so happy to hear about that. Like a couple of other girls are like shy, so they're just like, oh, America was really cool. Like, it was really, really nice that, you know, fans gave us a standing ovation, or, you know, they supported us by, you know, purchasing our merchandise. But Yone, she was just like so in love with it. Like, I just want to go there. Like, I'm thinking, like, is she gonna have like the Dick Togo career where she retires in Japan and then just goes around the world for a year? Like, how cool would that be, you know?
That might not be a bad idea, yeah.
It'd be fantastic.
Cool. Well, I mean, so okay, that's 2012 mapped out for Yoneyama then, but what's 2012 holding for you? I mean, I know you said the start of the year, hopefully you're not going to be as busy as you have been, but yeah, if you're setting the bar higher in 2012, what have you got to achieve? I mean, if we talk to you again next year, what do you hope you'll be talking about?
I mean, I hope I'm talking about success. Like I said, I guess my standards were high enough this year because I did accomplish so much more than I set out to. And I've always kind of thought my standards were pretty strong, but, like I said, with MMA, I mean, you guys know the MMA story, like I definitely want to do that. Specifically, I do want to do like mixed martial arts as a whole. I also want to do, kickboxing, so like the J girls kickboxing league here, that's pretty cool. And possibly shoot boxing, like it's something that isn't popular where I'm from, but in Japan it's kind of popular, so I kind of like the stand-up style with submission, so I'm going to possibly get into that. But, I guess more specifically, and I don't want to give too much information out because it's not all set up yet, but in the early part of next year up until spring, I do kind of hope to add a couple more stamps to my passport for countries I haven't visited yet. And so we're negotiating that now. Like I said, I really do enjoy my time in Japan, but when it's not tournament season, I have a little bit of downtime. And I'd really like to, go back to Mexico. I'd really like to go back to the States and go to a couple of new countries, like I said, I haven't debuted in yet. Mm-hmm. And for me, wrestling, I mean, I know that you guys all know this, but for me, wrestling is really all about learning. And I mean, you can never be too great. Like, you guys say I have 6 championships, and I think that's awesome, and I did work hard for them, but there's like so many people out there that I just really want to learn from and really want to, get in there with. And that's why I push myself with like MMA, and that's a new challenge for me. And I know like some people kind of like don't like to hear about that. They're like, no, wrestling, don't talk about MMA, it's like the enemy. But really, for me, and especially here, like the two are very hand in hand. A lot of people do both, so, and then Kimura is a really good friend of mine, Kimura Kyoko, and, she just debuted in MMA, so we're gonna hopefully, she won her first fight, and then she's gonna fight again next year, I'll fight again next year, or I'll debut next year, so, we'll be kind of supporting each other, and so that'll be really good too, but, that's kind of my game plan, in the early year of next year, and then, a cool thing, and I'm not trying to jinx anything or anything like that, but my little sister is going to be coming to Japan to train at the JWP dojo.
Oh, really?
Yeah. She will be 15 on New Year's Eve, so she's very young, and it's a phenomenal opportunity for her, as an American to come to Japan and that to be her, her initial training. But she's interested in it, and my office is interested in her, so we're going to make it happen. We're going to see if she likes it. And, if she can stick with it. Like, there's been some really, really, really good up-and-comers in JWP this year. And those girls are all, like, in early high school like she is. So, she'll have some peers her age, and she'll have some good people to fight with.
Nice. I love what you said earlier on, just in passing. You said you could never be too great. That's a good motto to live by.
I think so, too. Yeah, in any work of life.
Excellent. Well, I mean, I think, again, it only leaves for me to say congratulations once again for being our Wrestler of the Year. We've loved watching you this year, and we can only hope all the best for you in the coming year as well, and to wish you and all yours happy holidays for the Christmas season.
That's all your staff, by the way.
Yes. They'll be working on Christmas.
Oh man.
No, that's not that mean, actually. Christmas is like a working day here.
It's a Sunday. Get back to work. It's a regular Sunday.
Yeah. Don't you relax.
No Christmas for you.
No Christmas cake. Yeah. No, thank you. Thank you very much, guys.
Santa baby forgot to mention one little thing. A ring. I don't mean on the phone. Santa baby, so hurry down the chimney tonight.
Well, we're still here, and Christmas is just about done, and I'm exhausted.
Yeah, I am as well, but there's something we've got to do before we go, because it's the end of the year, and we have got a lot of thank yous to do.
Yeah, we're not American, so we don't do the Thanksgiving gimmick. So we, I guess we kind of think back on what our year has been right about now.
Yeah. Now, I know that this website, ringbellsonline.com, launched in March, but we were testing it pretty much from the start of January. So this has been like a big year for us to get this site going, to get some traction under us, and to be able to provide the quality of audio and articles and reviews that we wanted to give to you guys, because you guys want to know about these things, and we want to provide it to you. And we didn't feel like there was a big enough forum for women's wrestling all around the world, not just in WWE and TNA and some of the major companies, but also from everything around the world. So we hope that we've done that for you over this year, and it's just been a fantastic ride for us.
Yeah, we do hits now on the daily basis on the website that when we started we would have dreamt of. So we know that you're there, and we know that you're reading us, and we know that you're listening to us, and we just want to say most of everything. Just thank you very much for continuing to support the website, either from following us on Twitter or Facebook, reading the website, listening to the podcasts. It's easy for us sometimes when we're putting these things together and we're writing these things up to kind of forget that there's actually a pretty sizable little audience out there listening to us and reading it. And it's always pretty humbling when we do see those stats on the website. So thanks, and we hope you continue to support us this coming year.
Yeah, also want to say thank you to every promoter and every wrestler and everybody who's taken the time out to speak to us about their product and what they're up to and what they're doing and how things have gone, because you guys have been very open with us. You've been very honest with us as well, and we just want to thank you for that, and we hope that we've been able to sort of repay your trust.
Yes.
By able to produce quality content for everybody else to know about, so they can know a little bit more about yourselves, about your companies, and about what you're up to, and maybe increase the profile of women's wrestling.
Yeah, and Ring Bells Online and the whole website, it was set up to continue to give a home to the Women of Wrestling podcast, what you're listening to right now. We both believe in this project pretty strongly, and as I say, we've churned out 16 podcasts this year, so probably more than 16 guests as well. Thanks especially to all of them, because without them, the podcast doesn't exist, and without the podcast, the site probably doesn't exist. So.
Yeah, and also finally as well, just one last thought from me. I just want to say thanks to anybody who's contributed to the site. You know, people like Jennifer, for instance, who writes her Pocket Volcano articles, which are among the most popular on the site. There's been others as well who've been in touch with us. Azali, who wrote up a fantastic piece about Chikarasaurus Rex for us, which was fantastic. There's been others as well who've made contributions and given us insight and given us thoughts, tweeted us, Facebooked us, told us about different pieces of information. Every single one of you has been fantastic. We just want to say thank you so much. Indeed.
And before we all start crying here, we're going to call it a night.
It's too late.
And we're going to say 2012, we have big plans as far as the podcast, as far as the site is concerned.
We're giving away free cake.
We hope that we achieve what we're setting out for ourselves, but we're aiming pretty high.
There's no cake.
We're going to try our best to continue to provide that stuff for you. Let us know, though, how you're feeling about it. Interact with us. Continue to do what you're doing. Give us some reviews on iTunes. Tweet us. Facebook us. Let us know who you want to see on the show. Let the wrestlers know you want to see them on our show.
Yeah, speaking of which, usually around this time of year we seem to take an unscheduled hiatus.
We're not doing it this year.
No, we're not. We're going to carry on through January and through February and keep bringing you interviews.
That's the plan.
Well, yeah.
Until then, Merry Christmas, everybody. Hope you have a great time and a great New Year.